having kids if you can't fund their future. Having children is a major decision and not something to do lightly, first and foremost. Only people that really want to be parents should be parents. If it's not a desire in your heart to have kids, don't.
1322 life with Bri Smith, CPA.
Hello, welcome to 1322 Life. Y'all miss me? All right, I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I've been loving our podcast and what we're building together. Always, we would love to hear from you. So not only with your Thorn Letters, but just any kind of suggestions you have to make this more enjoyable for you. What is it that you would like to see? Do you have guests that you would like for us to interview? And who would be that person that you would recommend? Do you love the new format? Do you miss some of the old formats? What are the things that you want to see on 1322 Life? Please feel free to let us know. We will have a suggestion box on 1322life.com. But in the meantime, if that's not there yet, go to info@bdsmithfinancial.com. So you can send an email to info@bdsmithfinancial.com and we'll be happy to help you guys. Now, let's dive right in with prayer before we get started. So, dear Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you, God, for allowing me to have this space. Thank you for everyone that tunes in and that's listening to us, God. Help me to give sound advice that lines up with your word, not just with my emotions, as sometimes I do. Help us to just have an enjoyable podcast session. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So excited. We have some great stories to get into, and I always got my Bible. So let's get into the stories we have picked out for today. Again, if you want to get advice from me pertaining to you and your life, now, of course, without all information, it's for entertainment purposes only, because I only know what you're telling me. But still send it in. I'll give you my honest opinion, as y'all see, and let you know. One thing about me, I'll keep it real with you. That's for sure. All right. So let's get into it. How do you balance enjoying life and saving money? Is our first question. We're going to just start off with something light. I struggle with this a lot because I'll build up savings, then end up dipping into it for fun stuff like trips, food, random treats, and clothes that I don't even wear a lot. I don't want to feel deprived, but I also want to be more financially responsible. How do you set boundaries without feeling like you're constantly restricting yourself? I would love practical tips that actually work in real life. So in real life, I'll do a fast. If I'm getting into a place where I'm too spendy, or I'm doing too much, or I'm doing the most, or something is taking up too much of my money, and it's usually also not in alignment with my goals overall, I'll cut it out. For instance, right now we're in the month of June. So I've chosen, me and my husband, and this may air in late June or 1st of July. But me and my husband chosen to go on a spending fast. So a financial fast, or basically we stopped spending money outside of the house for anything besides the necessities. And for the most part that went well. But we haven't been spending money. So I haven't spent any money on eating out this month. That's great, because usually eating out gets a good little chunk of my money. And, I don't really value that. And it's not in alignment with my health goals that I have for myself. So that was something that was a big win for me that I enjoyed doing. And I think it's the best way to bring stuff back under submission. So if you're doing a lot of impulse spending, just YOLO, just swipe, then you may need to go on a financial fast. Just say no for an entire month. You got to reset your spending palette. The other thing is always just wait a couple of days or so before making big purchases. And for some of us, that may be anything over $100 to $200. Don't spend without waiting at least 48 hours. For others, it may be $500 to $1,000. And I don't care, unless you are crazy multimillionaire, This is what I want to see for everyone. There are businesses that are making $1 million a year. That does not mean that you are automatically a millionaire, because you got employees and things and people to pay, and that ain't all your money, right? So even so, if it's $500 or greater or $1,000 or greater, depending on your income bracket, I would say do not spend it unless you give yourself at least 48 hours or more, because some of y'all just be buying stuff on TikTok. TikTok shop is now the new HSN in home shopping channels and stuff that be on at night. My aunt's always telling me, "Ooh, I saw this," and my grandma like, "Ooh, I saw that," and they just be buying stuff in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, that's what some of y'all doing on TikTok shop. I done had clients tell me they bought a mattress off TikTok shop. Y'all buying too much stuff. Get off of it. Just say no. If you're on TikTok shop, stop it. Stop it. Don't buy nothing else right now. Sorry, TikTok, but go on a break. Whatever it is that's getting you. Amazon, the Prime deals and all of that. Cut it out. Whatever it is that is really getting you, you need to just stop it. Freeze it. Freeze your spending. Go on a spending freeze. You want to call it something other than a fast because you don't feel right to call it a fast, call it a freeze. Don't spend nothing on anything besides the necessities. Just do it for 30 days. See how it goes. It has gone so well for us. I want to do it again. Now, I am going to loosen up the reins a bit because we got quite a few things planned in July to spend money on. But I feel like because I said no so much in June, it's allowing me to say yes to some of the things that I actually do value. So I value travel and just family time. So we have a lot of different things going on in July. It's my baby girl's birthday, so we're going to celebrate that. You know, I'm doing a mommy-daughter trip with my oldest daughter. Me and my husband have our anniversary this month. So, I mean, we're in the month of July. So it's just going to be so much stuff that's going on. And I can't wait. Like, I'm excited. So those are the things that I love spending money on, and I feel like it's worth it. And now I'm in a better place to be able to do so because I said no to stuff like fast food. I said yes a little bit to Amazon, a little bit this month. But for the most part, I didn't do any spending on Amazon or any of those things. So it paid off. And so I do plan to do it again. So we are going to probably reel it back in again and only do those things that we have to in July, like those trips, those fun things, the celebrations that we're doing. But outside of that, no additional spending. Might save a little bit, a little something, not as much as we did before because this stuff will cost us money. But then in August, we can reel it in a lot more, even though we got stuff planned in too. So I don't know. I may not be able to go on another financial fast for a few months is what it's starting to sound like to me. This may be another September, October thing. Maybe I do those 2 months. I don't think I have anything planned for either of those months. And I only have my son's birthday. So that'll be fine. So those are the things that I would do if you're having problems with saving. Go on a freeze. Don't spend on anything that is not a necessity for at least 30 days, you know, and choose a good month because the spending months are coming. As you can see with my life, I'm like, oh, can I do this again? I'm figuring out in real time. I can't, not until the fall, but that's okay. A fast isn't supposed to last forever. This episode is sponsored by Making of a Monarch. Please look at makingofA to see what we have to offer for you. Making of a Monarch is built on our vision to be able to help over 1 million families in my lifetime to be financially set free, to eliminate poverty from their bloodline and just be able to actually enjoy life. If you created a business for freedom, if you've been wanting more freedom, if you feel trapped in the current space of your life and like you're just going in circles and going through the motions day after day, then you need Making of a Monarch and to take your rightful place as royalty. As a daughter and son of the Most High King, you are automatically royalty because our daddy is the King of all kings. That makes us little kings and queens here on earth. And so I want to be able to help you to step into that divine purpose and calling, and Making of a Monarch was made to do just that. Go to makingofamonarch.com to learn more. All right, looking for family finance advice. I got married a year ago. We decided to have a joint account for our expense and savings. We both contribute 80% of our salaries to the joint account, and the rest goes to our personal individual accounts. Here's the issue. I committed to funding my sister's education. Ooh. My husband was sitting on a cash pile while all my money was invested in the markets. He offered to use the cash instead of liquidating my assets. We used the funds for my sister's education. Now, do I treat this as a loan and repay my husband from my personal account? I've got some cash sitting now. Or treat this as a couple's commitment. I'm unsure where to draw the line in a marriage. He's mentioned it a couple times that in his mind it's a sunk cost and don't think he'll see that money back. It offends me to hear statements like that. Should I pay my husband the money I committed to my sister's education? I got questions. Like, are we married or are we not? Are we in agreement or are we not? I think this is a conversation you truly need to have with your husband. He said that he expects it to be a sunk cost, but ask him, does he want to be repaid or is he fine with it? Because it sounds like y'all are kind of combined finances, but kind of doing your own thing. And that's where your problem is. See, if you were just all on board with each other or completely separate, you would already know the answer to the solution. But y'all are somewhere in limbo. You're for 80% of it doing y'all thing together. So this didn't come out of y'all joint. This came out of his personal. So he has a personal stash. You got a personal stash, whatever the case may be. If you want to pay your husband back because you're offended, pay him back. Because, you know, you don't want him to act like you somebody they don't know how to pay back whatever they owe, then pay him back. But honestly, it's ridiculous. Y'all are married. The two shall become one. And so there's no loans between spouses. No, I don't wish. Because me and my husband, we don't loan each other money. It's just our money. What came out of our account came out of our account. What was spent was spent. It was ours. So I think that would more so solve your problem is that you two being on the same page with finances, because this is what happens. There creates this gray, funky area and all this animosity probably going on in the house because y'all haven't decided how y'all really want to allocate and do finances as a couple. Let's see this one. Parents of child's classmate asked for a $14,000 loan. Okay. This one, y'all, I'm going to have to pull up on the big screen because it was so juicy that they deleted it off Reddit. So let's see here. It's okay, though, because we saved it down. All right, so my child goes to an expensive private school in large part because our family started a successful business, which allows us to afford tuition and also donate to annual fundraisers. We received a lot of recognition at the last annual fundraiser that took place 1 month ago. Yesterday, I received a text message from a parent of one of my kids' classmates. We are acquaintances. I used to see her at school events and we chat a little, but definitely not what I would consider to be a good friend. Back to the text. She said that she was embarrassed to ask, but that her husband was waiting for his small business loan to process and they were in desperate need of a loan to cover expenses in the meantime. She asked if I knew of any angel investors that could help them out. I texted her back with a list of contacts we have that help with these loans and situations. I also suggested a few credit companies that can offer quick money with low interest. She thanked me and I thought that was that. Weird, but okay. She messages me again today and says that the person handling their loan doesn't want their credit to take a hit, so that avenue is out of the question. She said that they owe the private school $14,000 in tuition, and if it is not paid by this Friday, her kids will not be able to take their finals. They have 3 kids enrolled in this school. She goes on to ask if we know anyone who would loan them $14,000. I respond that I'm sorry she is in this stressful situation, but my husband and I have established a rule of not giving personal loans, even to family members. I suggested asking if the school would work with them because I've heard that they will offer financial assistance under circumstances. She immediately responded that she wasn't meaning to ask me for a loan personally, but if we knew anyone. I don't buy that one bit. Long story long, I guess I'm here for reassurance that I handled the situation appropriately and that this is extremely out of the ordinary to ask an acquaintance for a loan like that. My spider sense is also telling me that I'm not getting the whole story about what's going on with that family. I've been in similar situations with problem gamblers and addicts in my family, and this exchange felt very familiar. So, I think that overall, I think it was handled well. You gave them the options and the suggestions of who they could reach out to. They chose not to want to take a hit. And then asked you again if you knew anybody. Like, girl, I already gave you a whole list and everything. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you hitting me up again? So it seems like, yeah, she or he was definitely fishing for a loan. Very happy that you did not give it or go into that. And I hate it when people try and like beat around the bush. No, let's address the elephant head on. Let's just be direct and clear, because you seem to be very nuanced and gray. I don't like that. So I'm happy that you handled it well. You were very straightforward, to the point. There was no need for confusion in your response. And we don't know what else is going on in that family. And therefore, I will not gossip. But you did good to make sure that you did not partake in that and, enable them or, give them money or whatever the case may be that would have put your family in a bind. Like, I don't even know you like that. Asking about $14,000. Like, that's a bit much. So this episode is sponsored by Bri Smith Wealth. At Bri Smith Wealth, we are focused on building wealth God's way. From accounting and bookkeeping services to tax prep, tax planning, and tax resolution. Whether you have 5 years of tax returns that you need to get caught up on, you have a messy set of books that's never been looked at or haven't been looked at in a while that you need cleaned up to get back on the right track to be in compliance and have a grip on your business finances, please feel free to book a free consultation with us at bdsmithwealth.com. That's what I think about it. I think you did a good job. Just say no. That's what I got to tell people. Just say no. Ooh, let's see here. I got a real good one, but we'll go to that one next. My wife and I aren't on the same page financially. All right, so let's get into this. We have a 3-year-old daughter. My wife got a part-time job in December, approximately 20 hours per week for the first time since she got pregnant with our daughter. Within 6 months, we have upgraded our rent by about 30%. We moved further out of town and her car is old, so now she is talking about wanting a new car as well. I had supported us barely for the last 3 years and am a saver at heart. I don't want to tell her she can't buy something with money she is making, but I would much prefer we build up a nest egg of some kind. We have almost no savings. Her parents are retired comfortably and help us with money quite often. I like to try and do things ourselves, but she continually wants to upgrade this or that. What's the best way to approach her with my concerns? Or should I not? You definitely should. You absolutely should. Do you know that 38% of marriages end in divorce because of money? You need to say something, sir, because otherwise it will cause a rift that can't be undone if you let it get too far out of hand. So no, you're not on the same page. Yes, you do need to address it. How do you address it? With love and kindness. Do it over dinner. At a restaurant, somewhere public. Not on a regular date night, but just let's get away and have a chat sort of thing, because people don't act up as much in public. I don't know what kind of person your wife is. Some people like to storm away from conversations and act like a little toddler when they're called out. So that's why I'm suggesting do it at dinner, somewhere affordable, somewhere you can get like a little $15, $20 per plate dinner. And I would just say, hey, babe, this is how this makes me feel. Like, we're doing this. All of this spending is making me feel anxious or I'm uneasy. I would really prefer for us to be able to have some security and nest egg built up before we keep making all of these big major purchases and expenses. I want you to be able to enjoy your money, but also as a family, we need to get in a better space. I've been, taking care of us for 3 years now, and that has left us with no savings and having to depend on your parents a lot. I want us to depend on one another and just be more self-sufficient and independent from, parents and things like that. Since we're now parents of our own child, I would love for us to be able to work together on this. Please tell me what you need so that we can work together. I don't mind us having some bit of a splurge budget or something, but we can build up and save up for the new car, and things like that. And, we just moved. Now you want another car and now all these things. Like, let's pump brakes. Can we please just pace ourselves? Let's get a little bit of a nest egg, a savings and all of those things so that we're in a better place financially. I think that will go over well. And then y'all can resume dinner. Eating some chicken or something, or steak, or whatever the case may be. Maybe not steak because I said $15, $20, but eat some chicken and have a good time. Now for this one. Having kids if you can't fund their future. This episode is sponsored by Bri Smith Wealth, where we are determined to help you build wealth God's way. If you have been struggling to get on top of your finances and actually experience the freedom that you created your business for, if you're still not actually money or being able to bring home as much as you thought you would when you started this company, if you're in a position where you are making a ton of money but you have no idea where it's going, or maybe you forgot to give your favorite relative Uncle Sam his portion, please feel free to book a free strategy session with us. It'll be a quick discovery call where we go over what you have going on, better understand your needs, and how we may be able to serve you to build wealth God's way. Go to bdsmithwealth.com to book a free consultation. Ooh, this one hits home. All right, this is likely a controversial topic, but I want to see if I'm crazy for thinking this. One of the biggest reasons I'm still on the fence about having kids is that I don't believe that bringing a child into today's world is responsible unless you can guarantee them a stable future / basic needs. And by basic means, I don't mean feeding and raising them until 18. I mean fully paid education, support into adulthood, and help with purchase of their first home too. Otherwise, it feels like bringing someone into a life that will most likely involve financial stress, debt, and insecurity, and hoping they somehow manage. I look around and see insane housing prices, unstable jobs, layoffs everywhere, expensive education, rising costs, conflicts, and so many adults constantly stressed just trying to survive. People always say our parents didn't give us that and we turned out fine, but did we really? So many adults today are depressed, burned out, and financially struggling despite working constantly. Maybe this sounds harsh, but I'm a worrier by nature, and I think I feel guilty and anxious knowing my child would have to finance adulthood alone in a world that feels harder every year. Am I overthinking this, or do others think the same way? Yesterday, I posted asking whether kids actually make people happier, and the discussion was so interesting that I wanted to throw in another thought too. Okay, children and having children is a major decision and not something to do lightly, first and foremost. Only people that really want to be parents should be parents. If it's not a desire in your heart to have kids, don't. Because there's too many children out here being abused, neglected, and not treated well. Money is only one factor in raising good, solid children. One of many. The main thing you need to have is love. What I've seen some of the brokest families create some of the strongest families. Like 8 to 9 kids, 8 to 12 kids, I don't know, a bunch of them, okay? Sharing 2-3 bedroom home, and they've all become successful. They're all still very close, love on each other, all the things. The Jackson 5, if their parents would have decided, oh, I'm not going to have you because I can't support you into your future before you're even born, they would have never been alive. But then look at them. They went off to be stars and to make crazy amounts of money. So you never know what the future is for a child or an individual. It's not guaranteed that they will struggle. That's just not a thing. I think it's doom and gloom. What I'm seeing is that you need Jesus because he's the Prince of Peace. And you obviously do not have that right now. That's not a shot. I'm not saying that as to take a jab. I'm just saying that you need him, because if you have him, you will have peace and joy and not so much worry and anxiety. He really does lift off that burden off of you. So I would highly suggest not having kids if you don't want kids. Now, also, if you are living with other people on government assistance or struggling really, really, really hard in life, now's not the time. Okay? Now's not the time to have children or to add more to your plate. My philosophy on this that I've always had is that I'm not going to have another kid if it's going to take away from the children I already have. So my children are years apart. We're a blended family. Most people don't know that because I always talk about my children as my children. All of my babies are my babies, the ones I birthed and the ones that I just raised. And it's not a just raise because I show up as mommy. Okay. So for me, I have a blended family. So I had my daughter. My husband had 2, our daughter and son, and we became quickly a family of 5 because we fell in love, got married within 2 years of meeting each other. less than 2 years from meeting each other, actually. So it's cute. We got married a month before the anniversary of our first conversation, like our 2-year anniversary of our first conversation, whatever the case may be. So nonetheless, we moved quick. We just knew what we knew. We loved each other, and we was just stuck in like glue. I will say that we were married. We waited about 8 years to have kids together. Yeah, like about 6 years married, and 2 years together. So we waited almost 8 years before having children together, or something like that. Something very close to that, 6 to 8 years beforehand. Why? Because I had kids in private school. I had a kid in private school. I had kids in private school. I wanted to get a bigger house. The house I had purchased, it was just me and my daughter. We quickly became a family of 5. We quickly outgrew that space. I wanted to make sure I had enough room for all of my children. So before I added to the equation, I wanted to make sure I had enough room. So before my son was even conceived, I believe, I made sure to have everything that he needed in place, like bunk beds, all the things, before I think he was even conceived. So these are the things that were important to me. Also being able to be in a position to know that I can take great care of them and give them a good life. So did I want to be able to pay for private school? Yes. But I left that up to God. I figured I could do it. You can pay for daycare, you can pay for private school majority of the time. But it was just being financially stable and in a good position to give them a good life starting off. Not for 20 years into the future. I'm not waiting to be ahead and have everything they need before they're born for age 20. Like, to fund 20 years of a life before you even create the life, that's just silly to me. It's very silly, because you could miss out on 20 years of like literally just growing with your child, because you're always growing, whether you're 20, 30, 50, you're growing, right? You're aging. I didn't want to be a super old mom, but I also wanted to make sure I could give my children a stable life and future and not take away from my current kids. So I didn't want to have to be like, well, y'all got to go to public school because I'm having another kid, or y'all got to do less of this because I'm having another kid. That's just not what I desired. So I wanted to be able to give them all a great quality of life. And I put myself in position to give them a better quality of life by making sure that we had a bigger home, better neighborhood, all of those things. So that would be my suggestion there. But stop worrying. Get you the Prince of Peace, and he will take away all your worries. So with that being said, thank you all for showing up to another episode of 1322 Life. So happy to be here with you guys. Have the most amazing week. Go to 1322life.com/#Thorn, as you can see right here, so that you can leave your Thorn letters. I cannot wait to hear from you guys and start being able to respond to y'all personally to help you out. We always keep people anonymous. Reddit's anonymous, so you'll be anonymous too. Unless you want us to use your name so that you'll know we're talking to you and we're reading your story. I don't know about y'all. Sometimes you might send in something and be like, oh, that sounds so familiar. And then it's like, it was you. But nonetheless, we keep you as anonymous or as known as you want to be. We're not too known. I still won't say anything other than a first name. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of 1322 Life. Stay blessed.
Legacy. God's way. God's way. A good man leaves an inheritance, but legacy is more than gold. It is wisdom for the children. It is faith that will not fold. We are building with purpose. We are walking by faith. Money aligned with mission, stewardship covered by grace. 1322 Life, where faith and finances meet. Building wealth God's way, leaving legacy. 1322 Life, hosted by Bri Smith. CPA.
More than money.
This is kingdom.
This is kingdom.
1322.